Welcome back to The Hidden Truth, a place where ordinary stories turn into mysteries you can feel under your skin. Tonight's case begins in silence. A snowstorm covers everything. A train stands waiting and someone hears a voice that no one else reacts to. What if the sound you trust most starts lying to you? Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss the next story that almost stayed hidden. Now let's begin. The blizzard eats sound until the station is just lips and breath. Aaron squeezes my glove. Josh counts plows like constellations. Boards flicker track 7-0 in time, and the public address coughs up a harmless jingle. Then under it, clear as a whisper meant for one person. Last call track 9, doors in 3. I look up. No one else reacts. Maybe it's a stray feed, maybe it's for me. The conductor, Marla Keene, walks the line, coat white with salt. Our sleeper is B, berths 1214. Across the queue, a young woman with a navy pea coat and campaign scarf argues into the wind with a guy my age who smiles too clean. She shoves something at him. It hits the slush and skids. A blue lacquer pen with a hairline crack down its cap. I pick it up, hand it back. She meets my eyes like a diver breaking surface. "Thanks," she says. The scarf says Hart 4 Council in gold thread. Leela Hart. I know the name from headlines that refuse to explain themselves. We board to the hum of generators. Heat breathes like a tired animal. Snow ghosts the vestibule and melts to a film that smells like steel and winter. Keene checks our tickets, professional pressed. Her radio murmurs, HQ voice flattened by distance. Weather hold if winds exceed 30. VIP complaint logged. She catches me hearing and doesn't love it. Our compartment gives us 3 bunks and a window of black felt. I stash the family, walk the length once to measure the train. Sleeper B twins to A dining car in the middle. Coach behind, all knit caps and neon mittens. Luggage car last, door placarded employees only with a lock too new for the rest of the train. The PA crackles again, normal this time. Track 7 depart 2140. The minute we roll, lights in our car dip to a dusk that makes honest faces look rehearsed. Somewhere up front, the horn tests the storm and decides it still owns tonight. Leela passes our door moments later, alone now, pea coat buttoned to the throat. She knocks twice on berth 6 across the hall and waits. No answer. She tastes the air like it might have a truth in it, then moves on toward the vestibule. Aaron mouths stay close. I nod. I've said those words professionally to people who didn't know they needed them until too late. I say them tonight to myself. Snow sheets the windows. The glass skins over with frost that sketches random veins, until my breath fogs a circle and leaves a single clean numeral, 9, like a child wrote with a finger from the other side. I blink and it's just frost again. I put it in the drawer where I keep impossible things until facts volunteer to explain them. Keene comes by with a smile that does inventory. "We'll have a short stop at Ridge Junction," she says. "If you need the diner, go early. Weather might make the galley moody." "Understood," I say. "Everyone settled?" "Mostly." Her eyes flick past me toward berth 6. "You ever see a train calm an argument?" "Only when it's moving." She leaves me to my corridor. I knock once on 6 because the job I don't have anymore still knows how to ask. No answer. I try Leela's name softly. The door stays a door. We hit a drift, the carriage sways. My palm finds the wall like I'm learning to stand. On the counter by our sink sits that blue pen. Aaron frowns. "Yours?" I turn it. Campaign crest on the barrel, micro crack on the cap lip, a film of winter on the clip. Not mine. Not here by accident. The PA clears its throat again, the private voice inside the public one. "Doors in 3, no station lights outside, no platform, just white." "Dad," Josh calls from the upper. "Are we okay?" "We are," I say and make it true for one more minute. The train takes a breath it can't afford and keeps going. Somewhere between cars, something knocks once, soft, hollow, patient. I count to 3 without wanting to and step into the hall. The vestibule window is a blind eye of ice. The latch wears fresh scratches a conductor didn't put there. I pocket the pen. I look at the frost again. It palms another figure out of the dark, 13, as if a clock has chosen a side. Maybe I'm tired. Maybe the storm echoes. But I've ridden enough lies to know when a vehicle is carrying more than people. Leela Hart is missing for the first time and the train hasn't noticed yet. I do. I move when the car dozes, coats zipped, whispers low, doors sighing like they're tired of being doors. At the vestibule, I palm the cold and listen. Trains talk if you let them. Wind, steel, something smaller trying not to be heard. I flip the interlock, crack the inner leaf, and reach into the rubber throat where two cars handshake. My fingers come back with a navy button, salt-crusted, one thread tailing like it lost the argument with a sleeve. Peacoat wait. Leela's coat. Keen appears like she was hoping to catch me and did. Sir, vestibules are safer closed. I know. I show the button. Found here. Her face drops a degree. We're not stopping until Ridge. I'll log it. We squeeze into the tiny service alcove while she radios. HQ answers in a voice that pretends weather is a rounding error. Advise minimal disruption. VIP complaint pending. She doesn't repeat the name. She doesn't have to. Hart travels without traveling. Cameras? I ask. Front car only and the dome iced over at departure, Keen says. We have eyes in the diner and coach. Vestibule scratches. I saw, she says, already writing. Clean penmanship, hard pressure. She hands me the form to review like we're coworkers. Where's your family? B-12. Door closed. Aaron's a better perimeter than most alarms. Porter Rick Delgado clatters up with a cart and an apology smile. Hot chocolate, he offers the empty hall, then lowers his voice. Soon as we hit platform 3, Keen cuts him a look. We don't use platform 3 on this route. Rick blinks, resets. 9, he says. I meant 9. The wrong number curdles in the air. My pocket warms with the blue pen like a kept secret. I breathe on the window to map scratches with fog. Frost web blooms and for a heartbeat draws a sharp 9 and 13 where the glass is thinnest. I rub, it's gone. Your de-icer's working, I ask. They hate art, Keen says, not smiling. What's 13? A minute I don't want to meet unprepared. We walk the aisle. Berth 6 stays mute. In the diner, coach kids line up for cocoa. Parents trade weather facts. A young man in campaign navy holds court at a corner table. Evan Hart, cousin, fixer, the smile from the platform, now with an alibi made of witnesses. He raises his cup to Keen like he's thanking staff. I ask for a booth near the galley window and watch the door to sleeper. Rick refills my empty mug uninvited. Peppermint rides the rim, not candy, balm. He keeps moving. Keen leans in. HQ says if she's 22 and mad at her father, she could have chosen not to be found. People choose not to be found on platforms, I say. Not between cars in a storm. We'll sweep the train at Ridge, she says. Quietly, I nod. Quietly is a language I speak. The PA coughs the usual weather advisory. Under it, the private voice visits again, soft as a thought. Last call, track 9. Doors in 3. I clock the time. If 13 is real, it lands at the exact minute we coast into Ridge for a hold. Evan stands, performs concern toward Keen. Conductor, any updates on my cousin? Leela gets spacey under stress. She probably moved to coach. Please remain seated, Mr. Hart, Keen says, professional to the syllable. He flashes a campaign grin at me like we've met and liked it. You look familiar, he says. Press, tourist, I answer, counting snow. He laughs like that's a kind of honesty he approves. We roll into Ridge Junction as if the town was built after the tracks and never forgave it. Snow blurs the platform lamps into halos. The clock by the station sign blinks 21:13 through sleet. The doors don't open. Keen keys the PA. Brief hold. Stay warm. I slide to the luggage car door at the tail just to feel the lock. Fresh tool marks score the hasp. From inside, a single knock answers my knuckles, soft, hollow, patient. Marla, I say, because names by seconds. We've got sound. She joins me with a key she didn't mean to use tonight. Crew only, she warns and turns it anyway. The latch resists like a habit, then yields. Air spills out the temperature of a box that's been told to wait. On the floor grating, frost feathers toward the wheel well. The button in my pocket feels heavier, as if the car recognizes it. Stay behind me, Keen says. I've been trying to, I say, and we step into the part where something stops being missing and starts being hidden. The luggage car breathes cold and cardboard. Keen sweeps her flashlight in an arc that tells boxes they're furniture and us we aren't. On a shelf, instrument cases stacked like matryoshkas. I knock the largest. It answers with the fake thud of felt and wood and a buzz from inside. Keen pops the latches. Not a violin. Leela's phone, screen spidered, flashlight strobing. No blood, no note. A wallpaper photo of the councilman cutting a ribbon. On the grating by the rear door, a repair kit hotel size, needle, navy thread twin to the butt and 2 safety pins, a folded square of campaign ribbon. Keen bags it. Porters don't stock thread, she says. Families do, or fixers, I say. We work the rest. No Leela. Just a pair of scuffed flats, a tote with peppermint balm, and a printed disembark form stamped ridge with a signature that reads L Hart if you want it to. The timestamp says 21:05, 8 minutes before we rolled past the clock. The bottom margin bears a small crescent dent, the kind a pen cap makes when you sign on a soft surface. I feel the blue pen in my pocket like a part that already knows where it belongs. Keen swears softly. That form doesn't exist until a door opens. We close the car, seal it properly, and walk back through the train where heat and human noise pretend normal. Evan Hart intercepts us with concern lacquered to high gloss. Any luck, he asks, loud enough for witnesses. Keen plays it dry. We're following procedure. He leans closer to me, voice pitched for camaraderie. She likes music. Maybe she hid to listen. He taps the luggage car door we've just sealed. Reverberation's good. Between cars in a storm, I say, reverberation is lethal. He smiles like I told a joke about winter. On his cuff under the hem, a powdery sheen catches the diner's light, blue ink bloom, the way rare refills ghost on fabric. I file it without staring. We hole up in a booth. Keen flips her clipboard to the form and stares until the numbers admit they're wrong. If we had platform cameras, she says. We have slips of tongue, I answer. Rick said platform 3. Your PA doesn't. It doesn't, she agrees. And you keep hearing track 9, which we'll hit at the terminal, I say, unless an uncle calls a favor. Her radio murmurs a new tone, the kind that knows hearings and donors. HQ to Keen, maintain schedule, avoid escalation, family liaison present. She closes her eyes the way people do when they're stepping over a gap and trusting wood. Who's liaison? I ask, knowing. Evan raises his hand like class. I'm her cousin, he says to the room. We're grateful for your professionalism. Keen excuses herself to take a call in the galley. It's not privacy, it's survival. I go hunting for a table near the crew panel. Switches, breakers, comms a conductor can reach in crisis. On the wall above it, a printed run of train with a Sharpie note. Bay 3 crew gate under repair. Someone circled it twice. B3, the frost note from earlier crawls back up my spine. B3 in luggage glass. Bay 3 at the terminal. Evan slides into the bench opposite uninvited. You military? He asks. You walk like aisles are yours. I'm not, I say, and let him hear the past tense anyway. He toys with a pen, not the blue, a disposable. Leela's impulsive. She could have jumped to coach. She left her phone, I say. And her shoes. She wears 2 pairs, he says too quickly. He senses the edge and smiles. I'm just saying options exist. Like forging a ridge form 8 minutes early. He doesn't blink. Forms are messy in storms. Forms don't dent themselves, I say. Caps do. Keen returns with a face that's chosen a side. We sweep at the terminal, she announces to the car. Transit police meet us at track 9. Until then, stay seated. Evan's smile chips. Nora, he starts then corrects. Conductor, that's overkill. We're a family, not suspects. Keen's voice goes stainless. Families like ours build towns. Families like yours get people hurt when they forget towns aren't theirs. She doesn't raise her volume. It raises itself. We pull from ridge, snow closing the hole we leave like we were never there. The PA does weather again. Under it, the private voice offers its quiet line. Doors in 3. I check my watch. If it calls switch times, we'll hear it 3 times before the river bridge. Aaron texts, Josh asleep. I'm up. You okay? I'm hearing ghosts and reading pens, I reply. We'll be fine. The train sighs as we cross the trestle, metal singing winter's hymn. On the window, my breath wipes a crescent, and for a blink the frost writes a 9 again. I don't push the mystic. I let the numbers be numbers and the evidence be heavy enough to carry both. The train steadies into the white like it found a groove through weather. Keen and I badge the luggage car again, seal intact, lock now ours. Inside is colder, quieter, like a chapel for boxes. The violin case with Leela's phone sits where we left it, light dead. The repair kit waits on the grating. I thread the navy strand through the button I found between cars. It bites true, same gauge, same die, same sheen when the flashlight drags over salt. Not family generic, I say. This is a match. Keen tags the kit. Custody from here, she says. I'll own it. At the rear door, fresh tool marks scallop the hasp. Someone levered quick and careful. Keen kneels, frowns. Not a crow, slim bar, no splinters. Someone who cracks things for a living, I say. Or who learned tonight. A hollow knock rolls once from the wall panel behind the hand truck. We both freeze. I press the thin plywood. It answers with a patient thump, not panic. A signal that trusts rhythm more than noise. Who's there? Keen asks low. The panel gives a little under my palm, then stills. I find 2 new screws with driver chatter in the heads. Hidden crawl, I whisper. We can't rip panels in motion, Keen says, hating the rule and keeping it. Station only. I wipe a porthole of frost with my sleeve. My breath blooms and leaves B3 in the melt like a brand. Keen sees it this time. We share the kind of look people use when the world tries a metaphor and lands a fact. Back through the diner, Rick Delgado spots us and chooses the brave version of casual. Conductor, you need me aft. Later, Keen says. Help the coach car. He nods then to me, sotto voce, because he can't help himself. It'll be fine after the handoff at the station. Handoff, I ask as if I misheard. Baggage, he says too fast. Bay storage. Bay 3, I say, he blinks. Crew gates under repair. He adjusts the cart's squeaky wheel to avoid answering and rolls on. His wrist shows a ghost of blue ink where cuffs kiss skin. I take a booth and lay the blue lacquer pen on the table. Cap microcrack right where the disembark form bears its crescent dent. Keen sets the form beside it and doesn't breathe for a second, the way a person holds a picture and then believes it. Cap off, sign on a thigh or a soft folder, I say. Dent from the crack. Your timestamp's early by 8. Whoever faked it needed the paper ready before we hit the clock. Why plant it in luggage, she asks. Because luggage rides as evidence until someone with a badge opens it, I say. Then it's official. If we'd found this at the platform, it would already be truth. Her radio, HQ to Keen, maintain schedule. Family liaison requests privacy at terminal. She copies, doesn't commit. Evan Hart arrives with concern bright enough to read by. Conductor, any news? He asks the room, not us. His eyes flick to the pen on the table, then away like it burned. I cap the pen. You dropped this earlier, I say. He smiles the practice smile. I own a store, he says. Pens happen. Rare refill, I say. It blooms on cuffs. His hand lowers under the table. Keen escorts him 2 steps toward the aisle. Sir, return to your seat, she says, stainless again. He goes because it's easier than not. We move the family. Aaron takes Josh to the crew fold-downs by Keen's office, closer to help, farther from stories. Stay put, I tell Josh. He nods like he's learning a job. At the crew panel, I study the breaker layout and the radio patch chart. There's a penciled rhythm of numbers, 9, 9, 3, not a code, a habit. Switch calls. My watch ticks the minutes I don't have. I text Keen. Bay 3 equals B3 on the window. Leela likely staged for walkthrough at terminal, off camera, past crew gate. Need transit at track 9 plus Bay 3. On it she replies, quietly. Snow shoulders the car. The private PA returns, low as a thought behind noise. Next change in 3. I feel the deck loosen under us as we line to a siding. 3 beats later the horn calls a short, tight pattern I know from other lives. Switch, switch, hold. Keen meets my eye from the galley door. She heard the horn. Maybe she heard the other voice too. Maybe she lets me carry that alone. Either way, the timing lands. I pocket the pen, the button, and a copy of the form. When we hit the station, I tell her, don't give them their platform. Give me track 9. That's the plan, she says. Unless someone bigger calls it off. Then we make bigger feel watched. The train leans into the night like it trusts us. I'm not sure it should. But the numbers on the glass keep choosing the same future, and that future has a name and a door. Bay 3, track 9. Doors in 3. The storm forces us to a siding where snow stacks like uncounted minutes. Lights dim to battery gentle. The car learns to creak in lowercase. In the hush, the private PA slips under the official one like a memory I didn't make. 2 switches, then hold. Doors in 3. I count without wanting to. The horn answers in that tight pattern, switch, switch, hold, and the floor hum shifts exactly when the voice promised it would. If this is superstition, it reads the dispatcher's screen. Keen keys through to HQ, keeps her voice stainless. Requesting transit meet at track 9 and Bay 3. Family liaison will wait in the lounge. The reply is velvet over wire. Maintain schedule. Avoid spectacle. VIP complaint escalating. She looks at me like the rail still belongs to physics. If they reroute us to 7, she says, they own the cameras. Then we make 9 inevitable, I say. Evan Hart drifts up the aisle with a polite smile and a disposable pen he twirls like a baton. Update, he asks, performing concern for half the car. He slips to a murmur for me. Councilman can have cars waiting at 7. Smooth, safe. Bay 3 is under repair, I say. Facilities works fast, he answers, a little too quick. His cuff flashes a pale blue bloom where rare ink-kissed fabric. The disposable in his hand is theater. The blue lacquer pen in my pocket is a record. Leela's Ridge form, I say. 8 minutes early, cap dent. You signed it. He smiles like the word libel is a tooth he enjoys touching. Careful, friend. The train shudders back to life. We roll slower, tighter. I step to the crew panel. Breakers, PA inject, radio patch map. Pencil marks notch the chart. 9 right arrow 9 right arrow 3. A habit, not a code. The ghost voice whispers again. Cut lights, open intercom, then doors in 3. If I drop cabin to work and open floor mics at the right second, a platform change request logs as safety, not whim. Safety beats donors. Usually. I show Keen the sequence. We do this at the approach, I say. Black to work, mics hot, announce track 9 for police activity. The system writes it down and dispatch has to honor the log. Only if we don't look like saboteurs, she says. And only if I push the button, not you. Then you push, I say. I'll time the 3. We pass a dark farm. The window fog takes my breath and writes a small 9 I no longer argue with. Aaron texts, Josh awake. Says your numbers are talking to you. Proud, worried. Both are fair, I send back. Stay in crew seats on arrival. Left side if they force 7. The diner empties into patience. Rick Delgado hovers with a tray he doesn't care about. You want extra cocoa for the little guy, he asks, then lowers his voice. They'll try to walk her by Bay 3. They told me to forget the number. I can't. Who's they? I ask. He studies the bulkhead like it might answer for him. People who pay favors in winters, he says. On his wrist, that ghost of blue again. I didn't touch a latch, he adds, too fast to be comfort. Don't, I say. Touch a radio instead when we hit the glass. The private PA hums one more line, nearer than thought. Next change in 3. I feel the rails widen. The skyline opens into sodium and glass. The terminal rises like a ship. Keen squares her shoulders, fingers on the announce and work lights toggles. On me, she says. I nod, eyes on the seconds. 1, 2, 3. She kills the pretty lights to work. Floor mics pop. The house hears what crews hear. Keen's voice lands calm and official. For safety coordination with transit police, this train will arrive track 9. Please remain seated. The console prints the log the way courts like. Safety route change. 9. Police COORD with her badge number time-stamped. Dispatch tries to call it back. Too late, the system believes us. Evan is already moving forward, phone at his ear, the kind of hurry that pretends it's helpful. He takes the vestibule step and says, without meaning to hide it, B-3, we're still good, doors in 3, and my recorder in the breast pocket drinks that line like water. He hears the same voice I do, or he is repeating an instruction someone fed him. I rise. Keen nods once. The station fans open below us, glass, steel, and echoes. Track 9 blinks alive on the board like it never left. Bay 3, I text Nora at transit, now. The train slides under the shed. Snow becomes light. Ghosts become forms. We're either right on time or exactly late enough to make it matter. Glass swallows the storm. The terminal is all bright ceilings and echoes that pretend they're order. We idle under 9. Keen breathes once, keys the door controls, and keeps them shut long enough for transit police to stack on the platform in plain coats. I slide to the rear vestibule with Rick. Bay 3, I say. He nods like a man who picked a side late. Crew gate down the service ramp, he whispers. They said walk her between the camera cones and log voluntary. Who's they? He looks at the floor. Evan, and a voice on his phone that didn't need a name. Keen opens doors forward first. Coach spills gratitude. Our sleeper stays sealed. Over the PA, the real one, she gives the script transit wanted. Remain seated. Police activity on the concourse. The board flashes a harmless delay. The crowd translates it to gossip. The private PA brushes my ear one more time, soft as frost. Doors in 3. I count without wanting to. At 3, Evan steps into the vestibule, smile set to helpful cousin. He's got a soft case slung crossbody, big enough for shoes, thread, forms, and the story he needs. Family escort, he tells Keen, flashing a laminated liaison pass. Transit will handle family, she says, stainless. He leans closer. We'll be quick, she's waiting in baggage. The word waiting tries to be a kindness and fails. I hold up the blue lacquer pen. You drop this, I say. He doesn't touch it. Not mine. Cap crack matches the dent on a ridge form 8 minutes early, I say. Your cuff wears the ink. His smile adjusts one click tighter. You're inventing. Say doors in 3 again, I tell him quiet. You say it exactly the way the ghost PA did. People don't copy phrasing they never heard. He looks at the glass instead of me. Open Coach B, he says to Keen, like habit is still in his favor. Coach B is open, she answers. Sleeper B is not. Transit plainclothes fold in at the threshold. Mr. Hart, one says, badge flashed by accident and on purpose. We'll walk with you. Evan pivots, heads aft, exactly where we need him, toward the luggage car. I go parallel through the diner, text out a single word to Nora on the concourse. B3. She replies set. At the tail, Keen keys the employee latch. We enter the cold box one last time. The panel with fresh screws waits like a choice. Station authority, Keen says to the 2 uniforms with us. You open. They back the screws out carefully. The plywood breathes, then swings. Leela blinks into light, cheeks salt-burned, wrists taped but not broken. The relief in my ribs is a second skeleton. She sees Evan and recoils. Voluntary, huh? I say. He starts the sentence men like to start. This is a misunderstanding, and never finishes it. Transit moves clean and quiet, tape off, blanket on. Leela squeezes Keen's hand like she's found ground. Evan tries one more door. Family matter, we didn't want a scene. You built a scene, Keen says. We changed the stage. Walk, a plaincoat tells him. He chooses dignity and gets procedure. We move in a little convoy up the service ramp, signed Bay 3. The camera at the top blinks red, recording, because Sierra's counterpart in this city did their job, and because Keen put it in the log that we were here. On the concourse, the crowd parts the way crowds do for uniforms and stories. Graham Hart isn't here. His money is, in the posture of 3 lawyers near the information desk. I feel Erin before I see her. Left rail. Josh's hand locked in hers. Eyes on me and then on Leela, and then back to me with the inventory of a person who will forgive later if now goes well. We sit by a support column under a mass of departures boards. Transit reads Evan his rights, low and even. He stares at the pen in my glove like it betrayed a blood tie. She was going to blow up a good thing, he says, voice suddenly small. He fixes the city. She doesn't get it. Fixes the city, Keen repeats, and lets the words hang beside forged forms, tampered latches, hidden panels. Leela swallows, voice rough. He told me to wait it out. 2 hours and it's over. Then the door closed. What door? I ask. She taps the inside of the panel we opened. The sound is the same hollow knock I heard in the white. Rhythm, not volume. A message sized for trains. Transit wants the bag. Evan hesitates, then hands it over. Inside, a wrist brace, a peppermint balm, the repair kit twin, and a manila envelope filled with station forms. The top one stamped Ridge, bottom dented in a cap crescent. Enough, the plaincoat says. Lawyers recalc. The concourse listens because truth in public has gravity. Keen keys her radio. Sleeper B, open doors, she says. Family reunions allowed. Aaron and Josh reach me. Josh looks up at Leela with the solemn approval of a kid who just watched grown-ups try and fail to lie to the floor. Did the numbers help? He asks. They did, I say, and for once I don't care whether that's superstition or signal. The frost 9 on glass matches track 9 on the board. The whispered doors in 3 matches the rhythm that saved a platform. We haven't touched the grant files or the bigger engine. That's after. Right now, the car is open. The cold is outside, and the next part needs a microphone. Transit walks Evan toward the side stairs where lawyers learn humility. The concourse breathes easier and louder. Keen guides Leela to a bench beneath the departure board and lets the cameras see her alive. Sometimes you fix a narrative by letting it look at the thing that breaks it. I set the small proofs in a line on the column shelf, the way I was taught when rooms pretended to be courts. The navy button, the repair thread, the blue lacquer pen with its cap crack, the ridge form with the tiny crescent dent 8 minutes early. Under UV from a transit kit, the rare ink ghosts on Evan's cuff. Small truths, bright enough for a hall of glass. Why, Leela asks, more to the ceiling than to any of us. Why build a kidnapping out of family? Why make it look like I walked? Keen answers first. Because voluntary closes cases and buys time. She tips her head at the lawyers. Time gets sold. Leela's eyes find mine. You heard it too, didn't you? The voice that wasn't the voice. I heard a sequence, I say, and a train that kept its own time. I'm not here to sell ghosts. I'm here to respect physics and the ways it leaves chalk marks on glass when it needs to. Nora from Transit arrives with a folder that weighs like shovels. Grant schedules, vendor lists, Bay 3 work orders, the spine of a bigger story. We'll take the family part, she says. You take the rest. She means it kindly and professionally. Stay a witness, become a pen. Graham Hart's statement hits phones before he hits the stairs. Deep concern, admirable conductor, unfortunate confusion. The concourse reads it and does what concourses do, forget it in favor of the visible. Leela alive beats copy. I kneel so Josh can see the button. Evidence is like Lego, I tell him. It clicks with what it's supposed to click with. He points at the thread tail. That's the click. That's the click. Evan passes again, wrists banded, eyes on a horizon that stopped taking instructions. He tries one last line, a whisper he thinks is private. He fixes the city. She would have ruined it. He's talking about a grant shaped like a barrel rolling downhill into family vendors. He's talking about work orders that say B3 under repair while Bay 3 ferries favors. He's talking to a glass building that doesn't agree. The board flips a gnarl of delays into clean times. Our train posts a return in 40. Leela squeezes Keen's hand and says, "Don't let them make me a headline for his office." "We'll make you a witness," Keen says. I hand the pen to Nora in an evidence bag, cap cracked to the camera. "You'll match it to the dent," I say. She nods like that's tomorrow before lunch. Erin leans on my shoulder, relief finally allowed. "We ride back," she asks. "We ride back," I say. "Same seats, different air." Josh presses his palm to the big window and fogs an oval. The melt leaves a stubborn 9 the way it always wanted to. He grins like numbers are on his side. For a night they were. I don't ask the station for permission to feel superstitious. I thank the floor for listening when people lied to it. I thank the ghost announcements if they were just my brain reading patterns. I thank the pattern if it was just a plan we beat by seeing it. King keys the general. "Thank you for your patience," she says to the concourse and also to herself. Boarding will resume at track 9. We walk as a unit across the tile. Leela's steps steady on the beat train's teach, Aaron's hand warm in mine. Josh counting plows now as lights. On the glass, our reflections carry a small set of facts anyone can test. Button, thread, pen, dent, time. The rest, the winter, the whisper, the frost that draws a 9 for those who need it, is just a way to remember how we kept a door from closing. Case closed, train to catch, and a bigger map of tracks I'll start drawing tomorrow.